And I'm going to attempt all the 8 questions. The first question was from Francis, NTA. And you wanted to know what measures we are putting in place to contain the threats of violence and the threat of protest. Well, I want to tell you that we are prepared for protest. We are going to respond to all acts of protest in the most professional manner. And one of the reasons why this meeting was also convened is to take intelligence reports from the state commands, and we all analyze all the reports together in this conference. So we are prepared, and I want to assure you that we will manage the protest in the most professional way.
Policemen have children. Policemen have parents. Policemen, they have families. Policemen have people around them. They are suffering. There is no policeman or army or DSS in Nigeria that is living with his salary. Your salary is not enough for you to feed your family as a policeman. Your salary is not enough even to pay your house rent. They are feeling what we are feeling. The security agencies are feeling what we are feeling. And you think that they are just going to come against the protesters. Politicians don't know what is coming. They don't just know. For me, we want so many things, so people want so many things. And one of them is to scrap the constitution. One of them is to release Nnamdi Kanu. One of them is to scrap the Senate. But I know when constitution is scrapped, all these things will be put in place. But one thing I am after is that let government fear the people. Until we make government to fear the people, we will continue to be in bondage. Even when election will come tomorrow, if we don't do what we want to do now, if the election comes, it will be against us. So that is why we must arise. And, you know, freedom, according to Tinubu, he said power, they're not the dash power. Nobody will dash your power. That is what Tinubu said. He said they're not the dash power. And I am telling you today, nobody will dash you freedom. Nobody will dash you your country. Nobody will dash you your region. Nobody will dash even your community. That is why so many people now are out of their community. Bandits chase them out. The terrorists chase them out. They chase them out of their community because they thought that maybe freedom is given to you. Nobody will give you freedom. Bandits or terrorists, they have gone to so many communities, including my communities, for 2 months. They were battling bandits or terrorists. But you know what? They treated the terrorists in a language that we understand, and they flee. So when you close your hands and you are complaining, every day we keep on complaining. Today we are complaining we are marginalized. Tomorrow we are complaining we are this. Next tomorrow we are complaining we are this. If the government strike you in one way, you use another way. If they strike you in the left, use right. If they strike you up, use ground. You see, thank God for protest. People don't know the power of protest. In all parts of the world, the citizens have used protest to bring the government to their knees. And that is our target. That is what we want to do. And the time is now. We must do it. There is no going back about it. No going back about it. So no matter what people are saying, no matter what the government are saying that this is not going to happen, we have heard what you people are saying. You people should come, let's talk. You people should do this and do that. Hey, the time has passed. The time of dialogue has passed. This time around is for us to send our own message. If government have sent their message since by not tying our road, they have sent their message since by embezzling our money. Look at how this Dangote refinery is exposing everything. Do you know that the federal government and the Lagos state government said that where Dangote built his refinery, that they gave him a free land? That is what they said, that they gave him a free land. But you know what? Dangote said he paid $100 million. That is about 200 billion naira. That is what he paid for the land. So who took the money? And they started telling us that, oh, this thing, it was free. We gave it to Dangote. Corruption. And they were trying to take Dangote out of business. You know what Dangote did? Immediately, Dangote said day before yesterday, I am going to mention Nigerians in government who have refineries in Malta, who are, you know, doing petroleum. They are producing petrol, refining petrol in Malta. Nigerian politicians, they have refinery there, and they will export it back to Nigeria. They will import it into Nigeria. And we have refineries here. They are sabotaging the refinery to make sure that the refinery will not work. Anyway, Prof. Data said, good of you. Thanks for joining. Nasa Lion Ben, good morning. Thanks for joining. So we, the citizens, have say because we are the youth. Okay. Yeah, we, the citizens, have say. We are the youth. Wax Henry said, wow, that is an eye-opener. Why are we wasting our time with all the fanfare and the stupidity? It's because we are not ready. When we are ready, when people are ready, you will know that they are ready. So I think this is time for us to test whether we are ready or not. Nasa Lion Ben, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Enough is enough. Humble Nugo, good morning. Thanks for joining. I saw your WhatsApp message. Thanks for joining us. So the line is open. You can also give us a call and let us know what you think about what we are saying. So Tinubu gave a statement, gave a speech yesterday. He said that he have, received the grievance of the Nigerian masses. Benjamin Honora, good morning. Say it is only time to fight back. This is the only time to fight back. Of course, this is the only time to fight back. But you know why we are so lucky? Because we have a way to fight back that is not against the Constitution. Yeah, we have a way to fight back that is not against the Constitution. Chidubem Aniequindo, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Sabra, good morning. You are perfectly well. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. So that is what we are saying. Falana is telling the government that these threats, you people are threatening the people, it's not going to work. Not in this world and not in the world to come. I think it is now, today, it is today they started realizing what is about to come. It is today they started thinking about what is coming. And what baffles me is that right from time, the people knows that this government is not going to work. People know that this government is not going to work. Everybody knows that this government is not going to work. So it's not a choice. It's not something that we are saying that we are surprised. Even after when Tinubu assumed office as the president, there is something that Kenneth Okonkwo said. Kenneth Okonkwo gave a clear definition and he predicted how this government is going to be. Kenneth Okonkwo predicted how this government is going to be. And everything Kenneth Okonkwo said came to pass. Everything Kenneth Okonkwo said came to pass. When he was saying it, people were thinking that, oh, Kenneth Okonkwo is an opposition. He's a member of the Labour Party. That is why he's saying all those things that the Tinubu government is not going to work. But everything he said, in total, everything he said came to pass.
What else are you expecting? Let me tell you, people are going to be hungry for the next 4 years. Forget it. Because Naira will not appreciate. The only secret in appreciating Naira is what? There is no magic.
Well, there you have it.
Strong currency. Strong currency is predicated on strong economy. True. Strong economy presupposes an industrial productive base and a steady export market. He has told you must shift emphasis from consumption to production. What is this government doing? They are simply consuming. I'll give you an example. Look at the budget. 10 trillion naira for capital expenditure. Yet 17 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure, including 8.2 trillion naira for servicing debts. Since this government came in, it has borrowed close to $15.8 billion in 7 months. Meanwhile, you have removed oil subsidy completely. What are you borrowing for? You said you want to remove oil subsidy so you can have more money to give us these amenities. Yet you have borrowed all this money. Let me tell you what they're doing with it. 5 billion naira to give the first lady to eat. Nothing else. Because she doesn't have any constitutional duty or function. Then 20 billion naira to give chief of staff. They said to renovate his house. 15 billion naira to renovate the VP's house. This will cost Nigeria about 110 million naira every day for the next 1 year. Meanwhile, you cannot give the workers who are productive up to $1 a day as wage award. So this is a government that doesn't have empathy, that does not invest in productive means. They are still consuming the money. Oil price is not going to come down soon. He has told you he is not desperate about being Nigerian president. And he has shown it. Even when INEC did all the abracadabra. You know what Obi say? Calm down. We wouldn't need to destroy the nation. We will get it at the right time. So he is moving because he's searching for the particular environment and platform where the people that he's going to lead will accept this new Nigeria, where men should not just that they shouldn't be corrupt, but they should be incorruptible. You can't get that in the traditional platform that is existing in Nigeria now. You cannot get it in PDP. You cannot get it in APC. I dare anybody that wants to confront what I'm saying. So I agree with you. The elected class now, even some from Labour Party, have not impressed me. They've not impressed Nigerians. But Peter Obi has impressed me because I was inside the political room and I knew how he was carrying his life. And I knew that he meant it when he said, I would rather do the right thing and lose than doing the wrong thing and winning. So I agree with you. But please, if you watch what I'm saying, I keep talking about Peter Obi, New Nigeria. Because for now, he is the only politician I can tell you that can make these things possible. Look at what is happening in Nigeria today. Can you say this is what we wanted to see? That our debt now is 88 trillion naira. And what are you spending it for? Nothing. Consumption. Buying SUVs, 100% imported for 469 members of the National Assembly. And then you are talking about job creation. You know, he said his 8 priority areas. You know, he mentioned it in the speech. National defense and security. He has failed on that. Job creation. He has failed on that. Look at it. Macroeconomic stability. He has failed on that. He said he removed dual foreign exchange and wanted to make a single exchange. Are we not having the dual today? They are saying 800 naira official rate and you have 1,200 naira. He has failed on that. You talk about investment environment optimization. He has failed on that. You talk about this is his own 8th priority area. You talk about poverty reduction. He has failed on that. You talk about social security. He has failed on that. You talk about human capital development. He has failed on that. What else has he not failed on? So, you know, if you want to know how the 4 years will be, you start from 7 months. In these 7 months, how has he worked hard to cut wastage? I just told you about 40 billion naira is going to go into consumption that will add no productivity to Nigeria. I just told you a man who said he wants to revamp the economy, revitalize the industrial sector, and yet you're buying 469 imported SUVs when you have products that are assembled in Nigeria that you could have bought to improve the productive capacity of these firms. So what else is he going to do differently? He has borrowed about 15.8 billion naira, $billion. When is he going to pay all this? He's spending 98% of the revenue servicing debts and he's borrowing more. What else are you expecting? Let me tell you, people are going to be hungry for the next 4 years. Forget it. Because Naira will not appreciate. The only secret in appreciating Naira is what? There is no magic.